Good morning, good evening, good night. No matter where you are on this planet, I'm sending you love and light. Check me out. I want to talk about God's isolation and why that could be for you. I discussed in a video prior, God can isolate you from people, places, things, opportunities, materials, right? Because sometimes you might not be spiritually sound enough and strong enough to be able to go down certain paths without being compromised by darkness, by evil. Sometimes the removal, this can be a spiritual blinding. There could be a spiritual veil on you, right? To where you don't see certain things in people and why they're doing and moving a certain way. You don't see the spirit inside of a person, or you might not actually recognize and readily identify actual spirit entertaining the flesh as the flesh. You see what I'm saying? They play these games, bro. There are glitches in the matrix. You might think you're talking to a person. You might not be, bro. Really. And I used to hear this stuff coming up and used to think it was fake. It's not. I mean, whatever. I got some weird, wild stories, bro. Completely sober. So no weed, no drink, no DMT or acid, real life experiences. I've experienced real stuff and it's hard to explain sometimes, but we're going to get past that because that's another video. Sometimes the people, places, or things might feed your ego though. So you could be shielded and cut off and isolated from materials, opportunities, places, people, right? Because you're not spiritually strong. Or you might actually be spiritually strong, but you're also strong in your ego. And the ego is compromising you. And God knows if he gives you a kingdom, you're just going to become more compromised. You're going to become more egoic. You're not going to really be recognizing God as the source and the origin of your blessing. You're going to start feeling yourself. Me, I, the ego, the evil can be invoked within you, bro, if you're giving certain things too soon when you're not ready. I used to think that was crap. It's not. Gotta isolate you from people feeding your ego. The people might not necessarily be doing anything to physically harm you, but this life is spiritual warfare. So if you got people around you that are feeding your spirit in a negative light, and your mission is higher than theirs, God's going to remove them from you. Everybody essentially plays a part in our growth. Everything's about perspective. But there are cut and dry situations where there is no gray area. It's literally just black and white. Like, sometimes people can just be, for sure, detrimental to your spirit and your gravitational field and your walk through life, your path. They can be so detrimental that there's no way around God not removing them. They're supposed to serve a purpose to get you to this point of removal. Whether or not you extracted the keys and information along that path is contingent upon were you spiritually awake in that time. Being spiritually awake, for more clarification, it's not a 24/7 thing. When you're faced with a situation that is of a spiritual nature and you got two options, this is when you need to turn on your spiritual cap. This is when you need to put that spiritual cap on. You need to be walking in spirit because it will give you discernment. It will give you intuitive information that your mind might not be able to calculate because you're blind. You see, people operate in smoke and mirrors, and so do these demons. So logically, it makes sense to not just trust the logical mind, but trust the aspect of the mind, of the body, of the soul that you can't fully understand, but you know it's there and you can hear it. This goes to the people with internal monologue. Not everybody has internal monologue, and I discovered that as well in my 30s. Some people really just don't have an internal voice. I ask somebody what they thinking. They tell you they don't know. It's because they're not thinking anything. And I used to didn't think that was a real thing. It's like, if you're not talking, how are you not thinking? I literally put this together like in middle school, talking on the phone to chicks. Be on the phone, I'm running a conversation, then I'll ask her what she's thinking or I don't know. You don't know what you're thinking? And I used to think like that was fake, or maybe she didn't want to tell me, yada, yada, yada. But I've learned that not everybody has that internal voice for real. Like, if you're not speaking, you should be thinking. That's how it works. If you're thinking, it's impossible to think and speak at the same time. So you're doing one or the other, right? And that's not true. Some people have no internal thought, or they just didn't feed it enough coming up to the point that it's not there, but it's not to say that it can't be there. The bottom line is this. For those with intuitive notion, intuitive inclination, intuitive gifts, use that, because it'll help you in your walk. I swear to God, it'll help you when you're around snakes, fake people that's trying to get close so they can use information against you, so they can rob you, so they can take from you, rob your life, rob you of your opportunity, rob you of your job, rob you of your marriage, your friendship, right? Like, you don't want the devil to steal your light and take you further off of the path because you're a soldier for God. Y'all got to be aware that if you got a purpose on this planet, the antagonist is going to operate through many different mediums to get you off of the path. Some of them are going to be crucial. Some of it is just lightweight from a certain perspective. It's like a small crumb, but all these crumbs add up, and the devil knows that. So be careful what you eat. That's mentally, spiritually, and physically, because all of these different avenues are ways of compromising the human vessel, bro. Straight up, and the human perspective. So you have to be aware of this shit. Mind, body, and soul is some real shit, bro. I just want y'all to understand that, dog. Like, sometimes your isolation, it might not be about nothing that you're doing wrong. It just might be because that's one of the mediums that the devil is using, right? Through that person, through that opportunity, through that event over there. That's just another path, thus a medium, a way of the devil having a conduit for evil to potentially compromise a strong vessel for the Lord. Y'all need to understand this shit. Sometimes it is you. Figure out why it's happening to you. All right? Because it might happen to you because you're an a-hole and you know you are. And you might just need to be more humble. Some of y'all might just be around snakes and they're going to take your blessing, so God ain't going to give it to you. You're not in the right environment. You're not in the right frequency. You got too many shrouded clouds above your head and your spirit for the light to shine through and for you to even know it's up there. You need to move. You know what I'm saying? For some of y'all, you just need to get more strong in your spirit, more information in the spirit. The more intelligent you become, the stronger you will become. You cannot be an idiot working for God. You actually have to be some form of intelligence. God can use all things, including morons. But you must understand, the smarter you are with recognizing this shit, the more you'll pass these tests. The better you'll be for heaven. The better you'll be for yourself. Ain't that the point of this game? The evolution of self. You got to understand something. You already are a part of God. So getting back to God ain't about learning nothing. If you really think about it, you was already born pure. The earth and everything else compromised you. Getting back to God ain't learning nothing new. Getting back to God is letting everything go and doing it in love. Pure love. Sometimes to get back to God, you got to be isolated. Because your ego, that material, that man, that woman, that opportunity, that job, whatever it is, that fame, this clout, whatever it is, that'll be the thing to take you off of the path. I'm not come on. This hitting with somebody. This is hitting. I'm freestyling. Like, dude, this is the spirit right now. I hope you see. Anyway, beware of the different paths that the devil can compromise you. Because the devil's not stupid, and neither should you be. Life is literally outwitting the devil and trying to see God in every circumstance. Paradox. I'm going to end this with my mantra. Good morning, good evening, good night. No matter where you are on this planet, I'm sending you love and light. I'm gone.